Welcome back to Plum Daily. I'm Robin Moreno, coming to you live from the gorgeous Wolfer Vineyard Estate here in Sagaponack on an amazing day. And I'm excited to be joined by Gary DePersia. He is the Senior Vice President of the Corcoran Group. So whenever you go to cocktail parties, people inevitably are always talking about, what you buy, what's for sale, and what the biggest deals are. And you were involved in the biggest deal we've had to date out here, right? Or this year?
Yeah, I think so. That could change in about a minute with all the big property we have.
Well, don't be modest.
No,
Come on.
True. It's true. Yeah, we sold Tyndal Point, and Tyndal Point is an amazing property. It's 55 acres in North Haven. Sort of when you line up to the ferry, it's that entire property you see as you're leaving the ferry all the way to the right.
That is amazing. It was in the it was all over the papers. This Tyndal Point.
Right.
Is it a private? It's not a private island, is it?
No. It's just sort of at the end of a peninsula.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was an interesting sale. We sort of inherited that. Scott Strow and I, who's my co-lister, we inherited that from another agency who had it for the year before us, and we made a price drop from 80 to 75 million. Mm-hmm. Which in 2008, May of 2008, was still a lot of money. And then considering the drop in the economy, it was very difficult. But it was an interesting property. It was owned by a gentleman by the name of Bob Rust, who was a former Marine in his early 80s, a U.S. attorney. He'll tell you the story how he saved JFK's life one time.
Wow.
Very interesting story. So
how did the buyer find this place?
Well, let me just go back to him a little bit.
Yeah.
So he inherited from his aunt 10 years ago.
Okay.
He really didn't need it. He had a house up here. He lives in Miami, and he wanted to put it on the market. The taxes were approaching $250,000 a year.
Oh my God!
And he put it on the market. So. Then you would think that with 55 acres and 3,000 feet of waterfront, multiple docks, sunrises, sunsets, a pond, multiple houses.
Sounds amazing.
Its own private marina in a lagoon, there'd be a lot of buyers for that. But there weren't. Because you got to understand something, north of the highway, no matter how beautiful it was, we hadn't had any sales really over $20 million, which was something I sold back in 2005.
And just because people just want to, it's all about south of the highway, right?
It is, but they don't realize some of the best waterfronts and sunsets are up there.
The sunsets are up there.
So what happened was he couldn't sell it. He started a subdivision process where he was going to divide it into 6 lots that was going to be owned in pairs. And these lots would be about 17 to 20 acres each, house, guest house, pool, tennis court, figuring that it would be easier to sell smaller lots to multiple buyers than one big 55-acre lot.
But then the big fish came along.
Well, you know what? Yeah, and so.
And how did he find it? Because he was basically
sailing
on a yacht.
He was a guy
right?
who had his own boat up here. He kept it in Sag Harbor, and he'd constantly be going by it and be intrigued by it. He'd be biking on Ferry Road. He'd see the property. He'd see it from the water. So he called me one day, and he wanted information on it. So we started a negotiation, and since he came from Florida,
and the owner was from Florida,
we arranged a lunch meeting in Palm Beach, and I flew down there one day.
And then you guys sold it for, what was the end price?
The end price was $36 million.
All right, I like how business is always done over lunch, Gary.
It was done right after dessert.
All right, congratulations.
Right after dessert.
All right, the biggest deal, Gary DePersia. He's very smooth. He's very dapper, this guy.